Hello, this is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. If you could hit that like, share, and subscribe button, I would really appreciate it. This is going to mainly focus in on the description given in the probable cause document of the suspect vehicle and also the DoorDash vehicle that shows up to deliver a meal to Zena Kernodle. That was right around 4 o'clock. It's important to note that Kohberger left Pullman at around 2:53, and then he is first seen on camera in Moscow at approximately 3:26. When he was first seen, he was actually seen in a location that is pretty odd. He was seen at 3:26 at 700 Indian Hill Drive, and it's just sort of off on the side winding street, quite a ways east of the 1122 residence. But all these streets connect in some ways. When you look at it, it looks like he drove up north on 95 and then possibly turned right on Palusa Drive. Now in this case, when he drove there the first time, keep in mind it only takes about 10 or 15 minutes to drive from Pullman, Washington to Moscow, Idaho, but apparently it took him somewhere around 35 or 36 minutes. So there's all kinds of other roads that are south of Pullman that would allow him to cut across. He winds up in Moscow, Idaho, first being seen at 700 Indian Hill Drive on a surveillance camera. Then he was also seen at a surveillance camera. After driving past and through Indian Hill Drive, he gets to Steiner Avenue, and then he turns west, and then he passes a A&W restaurant. And there is a camera there that was put in the news early on, and that's right at that intersection. And then he made like 3 different loops, but eventually he shows up in the area of 1122 King Road, making his way onto King Road and Queen Road at around 4:04. But prior to that, we had the DoorDash driver dropping off a meal for Zena. Now, I think that they were able to continue to identify this vehicle because it was missing a front license plate. And interestingly, the state of Pennsylvania doesn't require a front license plate. The state of Washington requires front and back license plates. According to Title 49 Motor Vehicles in Idaho, Chapter 4 Motor Vehicle Registration, display of plate and sticker, license plate assigned to a motor vehicle shall be attached, one in the front and the other in the rear, with the exception of the following. And there's a bunch of exceptions in there, none of which Brian Kohberger fit under. The vehicle that was traveling around with Pennsylvania plates does not have a front license plate. And that alone really points to it being his vehicle. And obviously we've learned that he updated his license plates after that to Washington plates, which would be front and back. And that's when he headed back to Pennsylvania after the term was over. He took off, and interestingly, he did go down to Colorado on the 13th, 900 miles south. So is that where he actually started his journey back home from with his dad? Or did he drive all the way back up and head from Pullman, Washington with his dad to Pennsylvania? So let's get to the video right now. Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk both made statements during interviews that indicated the occupants of the King Road residence were at home by 2 a.m. and asleep, or at least in their rooms, by approximately 4 a.m. This is with the exception of Kernodle, who received a DoorDash order at the residence at approximately 4 a.m. Law enforcement identified the DoorDash delivery driver who reported this information. Here is the DoorDash driver. I use the same vehicle for both the Elantra and DoorDash, but changed the color up. So this is DoorDash. Maybe he did something like this, pulls in, and in this location he would get out of his vehicle. Apparently with DoorDash you don't actually speak to the persons, you just come up, drop the meal off, and dash away. Maybe that's why they call it DoorDash. But they drop off the meal, ring the doorbell, knock on it, and take off. And this is right around 4 a.m. on the 13th of November, 2022. And then just after that, 4 minutes later, suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a fourth time at approximately 4:04 a.m. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road. And here's the vehicle. Driving eastbound on Queen Road. It's actually Queen Road, not King Road. And then it stops and turns around in front of 500 Queen Road, number 52. Now I think it's right back here because we did learn that there's a surveillance camera right here. You can barely see it in my off to the side there. It appears to actually be facing this area right here. Then driving back westbound on King Road, when suspect vehicle 1 is in front of the King Road residence, it appeared to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road. Then it continues westbound on Queen Road to the intersection of Queen and King Road, and where it does a 3-point turn and then drives eastbound again on Queen Road. And then it drives around, and I believe, this is where I'm just putting in what I think, is that he drove up around into the parking area that's behind the 1122 residence. And it remains there from probably something like 4:05 or 4:06 up until 4:20. And then at 4:20, suspect vehicle 1 is next seen departing the area of the King Road residence at approximately 4:20 a.m. at a high rate of speed. Suspect vehicle 1 is next observed traveling southbound on Walenta Drive. Based on my knowledge of the area and review of camera footage in the neighborhood that does not show suspect vehicle 1 during the time frame, I believe that suspect vehicle 1 exited the neighborhood at Palusa River Drive and Conestoga Drive. Palusa River Drive is at the southern edge of Moscow and proceeds into Whitman County, Washington. Eventually, the road leads to Pullman, Washington. And you can see on the map right here, the vehicle comes out right here in this location at Conestoga Drive and Palusa River Drive, which is right there. Then the vehicle turns left from their perspective, right on the screen, and then turns right onto Highway 95 and takes, this is the route that they have in the probable cause document, drives south like this. It takes approximately 50 minutes. So he leaves at 4:20, got into Pullman, I believe it was like 5:35. There are about 10 to 15 minutes of time missing in the length of time that it should have taken to drive that route. So I guess it's possible that he dumped an item somewhere on that route back to Pullman. But he also went to some great lengths to drive in very out-of-the-way ways to get to places to throw people off. Okay, so thank you guys very much for watching the video. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And my dogs are running around the house, clicking and clacking, and I can't do anything about it. All right, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, be safe out there.